Hey guys, I want to introduce an exercise that I like to do for general warming up and training of wrist motions that I call the bouncing ball exercise. I used to try to practice bouncing a ball on a surface like a drum or a practice pad, like a little rubber bouncy ball. And I think that's a really great way to learn the sensitivity that your wrist needs to have to really execute a great rebound at all different heights. But it's a lot of chasing around a ball that bounces off your drum or pad and goes and gets behind a bookcase or whatever. So rather than deal with that very kind of abstract extreme, I think a really helpful way is to just take the sticks that you would normally play with and one hand at a time learn to bounce the stick using the other hand while it is in the grip. Like for instance, let's say I want to become more aware of rebound in my right hand using my normal American grip, okay, which is a first finger and thumb fulcrum connection here. And what I'm doing is I want to learn how the stick rebounds on that hinge that is created by those two fingers. So using just those two fingers, I'm going to hold the stick in an otherwise normal American grip, but I don't have these fingers held on very hard. They're just kind of hanging. What I'm going to do is take my left hand and bounce the bead of the stick on the pad surface and try to learn that rebound. Okay, so it looks like this. You might have to mess around with the tempo to find where it feels comfortable. Sometimes it's a little faster, sometimes it's a little slower. You can slide your hand back toward the other hand or forward more toward the bead, depending on the tempo and the height. And just use your wrist. Don't turn it into a finger exercise with the other hand. That might be kind of intuitive to do that. And it's not that that's necessarily bad, it's just that we're training the wrist here. So again, you're working two things, actually. You're working the rotation in the fulcrum area on the right hand, and I'm working my left wrist in a German grip, just learning to bounce the stick very repetitively, like a little basketball on a little basketball court. And what I like to do is, once I get my rhythm going and it feels comfortable, then I'll start counting. And I'm going to count up to 400. I'm actually going to only count to 100, but in groups of 4. So that's 400 strokes. So if I give you a little startup demonstration of that, it would go like this. Okay, again, I'm in the American grip on my right hand. Got my rhythm now, so I'm going to start counting in groups of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, etc., all the way up to 100. And as I get tired, I'm going to slow down, and as I feel like I've got a burst of energy, I'm going to speed up. Okay, I'm going to keep the tempo dynamic because that's just a good way to warm up the muscle without hurting yourself or it being overly boring by being really, really slow the whole time. So cater to how the muscle is feeling in the left hand, and then just notice what that stick is doing over here, because the amount of pressure that it takes to hold the stick in place while this is happening is a good indicator of a fulcrum pressure for, finger technique or things where you have to get the stick to bounce like that. So it's got kind of 2-in-1 uses. All right, so that's the ball bounce. You definitely should do it symmetrically on both hands, and you can use a variety of grips to do it. So that was what I would call the American grip. Okay, I like to do it in the French grip, where the thumb comes up over on top, the stick comes in, everything's relaxed, and the thumb's on top, so the motion in the fulcrum is one of this. Okay, it's a little bit more of a balancing act, and this is a really great grip to get good at. It has a lot of benefits in any type of playing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, counting up to 100. Okay, there's the German grip, which for my purposes, I like to use the German grip with a completely flat to the ground hand, and I like to use the middle finger and the thumb as my fulcrum point rather than my index finger. Okay, so that's the way I make those distinctions. So I'm actually going to hold the stick like this and train that middle finger and thumb to act like a hinge. Okay, so those are the 3 match grip positions. I also like to do it in the traditional grip position. So I'll hold the stick in with the traditional grip fulcrum, and again, since my right hand, which is not normally the hand that holds in the conventional grip or the traditional grip fashion, since it doesn't really know that grip, I wouldn't want to try to do all those strokes with my wrist. I'm doing the strokes with my other hand, so it takes the pressure off the right hand, yet the right hand is still gaining some knowledge about the way the stick moves with that particular grip and that particular hinge spot between the thumb and the first finger, but down here. And of course, I would do all these over on the left hand. Traditional German matched, American, and again that's between the first finger and thumb, and then the French grip, first finger and thumb fulcrum. Okay, so that's a great way to warm up. It's a great way to just take yourself back to the basics and kind of get a 2-for-1 benefit from that exercise, both the hand that's doing the fulcrum and the hand that's actually propelling the stick. Remember, don't use your fingers, use your wrist, and hope that helps you. See you next time.